Hello, everybody, and happy 4th of July. I am so proud of my country getting their vaccinations and the economy starting to open up, and it is fun. It's overwhelming to go back out into the world, but it's so much fun. So I'm just happy for everybody. Is Nadine here? Yay! Wait till you see the photos I have of what she's been working on. Because I think her sewing room is upstairs, her studio, and in the summer in Germany, it gets hot up there. So now she's found things she can do and work from downstairs. But I've often heard people say that quilting is a great winter project, especially if you've got the quilt on your lap and you're trying to do the binding or quilting. And that's right. Whose birthday did we miss? Because no, her birthday is today. So is Linda here? Is Linda here? I want everyone to sing with me. We're going to say happy birthday to you. Linda, yay, happy birthday, darling. So that is wonderful. So let me see. We have Sonia's back. So good to see you. And we have Susan. And we have Marcia. Charlene. Hi, Charlene. Laura. Ryland. Wonderful. Rylander? Wait a minute. I better be careful before I start saying people's names. Hattie is back. Hello. Uh-oh. I'm sorry you're having a problem with your email. I am so excited to see Nadine here because she's doing some really wonderful, kind of reminds me of some of the stuff Linda McCollum does. And so I can't wait to show you because I have to turn on this lamp. The sun was so bright in the window, but unfortunately it goes behind clouds and then it gets too dark. So it's better if I just leave that lamp on. Okay, but I can't wait to show you what Nadine does. So we'll have to have photos earlier today. Since Nadine, are you going to work? Do you have to work tomorrow? But oh my gosh, it is so good to see all of you. And Hetty is here again. Nope, no one's cross with you, Miss Hattie. We don't really get no. Uh-oh. Do I? I should have sound on. Yeah, it should be on. And we don't really get cross here. We are a nice group of people, and we're very understanding. And as long as no one tries to be mean, we don't get cross. So, okay, let's see. Yes, I can't wait to watch a Capitol 4th because they had fireworks locally yesterday, and I just forgot. I kept thinking they'd be on the 4th, but, I guess they do it on Saturday. So, is Bonnie here? Is Miss Bonnie? Yay! Well, it's good to see you pop in, Miss Bonnie. So, everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful 4th of July. And our little honorary citizens like Miss Nadine, I hope she will join in with the fun too. You can't help but get excited to think about a band or little ragtag colony saying, you know what? We're angry and we're not going to take it anymore, and standing up to the world power, England at the time. You got to give some credit to those dear people. So that is so, it's a good reason to celebrate. So let's see. Is Nikki here too? Kathy Klein, hi, sweetie. How are you? Boy, it is good to see everybody. And I know it's a busy day being July 4th. So, pop in and out, and you can always catch us on the replays. So, yes, we are so excited to have Miss Nadine. Hi, Miss Nikki. Happy 4th to you, sweetheart. I'm going through. Diana, right. Woo, this is a banner day. Let me tell you, how exciting is this? So this is wonderful to see everybody. Wow. I miss chatting with Miss Diana Wright. In fact, oh, well, I have to ask Susan, but Susan and I are sewing tomorrow, and I didn't know if it's just going to be her and I, or I forgot to ask her, and I shouldn't ask her on here in front of everybody. But it is so good to see you're hosting. Oh, a pool party barbecue! Yay! Oh, that's wonderful. Ah, yes, I can understand, Miss Susan, that you cannot film a quilt store when you might be having a tornado. Good. You stay safe. That's more important. So, you're almost done with your beads. I can't wait. Send me pictures, darling. Ah, it's so good seeing you, Miss Diana Wright. We just think the world of you, hon. Okay. Oh, okay. So anybody that wants to sit and sew, I already told Mark, I have been working so hard. And I said, guess what? I'm taking tomorrow off and I'm just going to sit and sew. Now, what I was thinking, could we start it a little bit later for me? I was thinking maybe 10 to 3. Is that okay? And people can come and go if they want. And that even 10's a little early for a Deb, but I'm going to try. But I would just, and Hetty, if you can send me an email at ourtimetoquilt@twc.com, maybe you can get in on the sit and sew too. It's a wonderful thing. We just all sit, we're relaxed, and we sew, and usually you have your laptop or your phone, and we don't have to type. We can actually talk to each other. Michelle is here. So if Susan doesn't mind, then tomorrow we're going to just do a sit and stitch, and I'm so excited. I haven't sewn just for me since camp, and so I've been too busy. Well, ask me what time I got to sleep this morning. 4 a.m. So, yeah, sometimes I get in this. I was working on making sure I had the photos and the schedule. And sometimes I get in this no man's zone where I'm like a zombie. So, but it'll be wonderful to sit and sew tomorrow and just chat. So, don't we love our sunshine, our Miss Nadine? And I want to just put out a little word of, of love and love and comfort for Miss Cheryl Lemon. Her father is just not doing well, and they're going to have to look for a facility for him. So it's been really tough on her. So please keep her close to your heart. So, okay, good. Oh, thank you, Miss Susan. Yeah, because I don't wake up until the afternoon. I mean, when I say mentally wake up, but my eyes might be open, but not much is going on. So, okay, God, it is so good to see all of you. This is wonderful. Yeah, I was thinking about July 4th this year, and I said, you know what? I'm feeling really good about how the economy is going and the country is going. The compassion level is up, and being able to go out without that fear of dying is wonderful. Oh, and I just heard on NPR, you ready for this? The main vaccines they think are going to have immunity for years. Isn't that wonderful? So if you haven't gotten your vaccination, run get it now, because it's one series and done. and then we can all relax. So isn't that wonderful? I'm so excited. So I thought we were going to have to go through that every year. No, it's not looking like that. So that's wonderful. All right. Well, what I'm working on, it's usually better on a laptop or computer sometimes. Yeah. If you're on your cell phone, it's really hard to hear. So if you have a laptop or a computer, if you can possibly sew near that, because we want to be able to hear you. So, oh, I'm sorry, Miss Hattie. I'm sorry about your friend. That's hard. But okie dokie. So now I've got all kinds of things to talk to you about, but I was working on something. And you know me, if I start working on something, I'd like to keep working on it. So what I'm doing is I forgot what I told you last week we were going to do today, and I didn't have time to watch last week's show. So you can all remind me, and I'll make sure to do it next time. But what I thought I would do today, here it is. I tried to make sure that I had everything I needed today. I love this little fabric box. I love this fabric. I wish I had more of it. But isn't that pretty? And it is wonderful. I carry my sewing supply, seam ripper, thread heaven, needle case, all of that. I keep it right here. And I can even put pins in it to act like a little pin cushion too. So I thought, I know I've probably shown you this before, but I thought it was a good thing to do again. Thank you, sweetheart, Miss Nikki. And so I just wanted to tell you that if you have 10 inches of fabric, that's not much, is it? And what I did is I used a wonderful geranium fabric, and here is a coordinating inner fabric. And I think I'm going to put the pretty fabric outside and let this be the interior. So this is what I've done. And what I'm doing differently this time, you can use, now I have got some interfacing on the pretty fabric just to make sure it has a little stiffness. Buy fusible interfacing, medium weight, buy it by the bolt if you can. Because we use it in our art quilts, we use it in t-shirt quilts, we use it in things like this. But instead of using a piece of batting, which that's what I used inside this one, this is great, but the more you use it, it starts to get a little floppy, you know? You know how when you unwrap things that you get in the mail and they come with this foam? See this plasticized foam? Take care, Hattie, hon. And so do you see that foam? I save this stuff because it's wonderful to put in tote bags, anything. So I decided today to use that inside this, hoping it won't break down. It will stay a little more firm. We'll see. Now it looks like where the iron hit it, it kind of compressed a little bit. So that's one thing. Be careful with the iron. But now I'm going to show you. Oh, I'm so sorry, hon. You lost your right leg. Oh, that is tough. I love upcycling. Let me tell you what. I showed y'all when I was making my sari thread balls that I realized, you know what? Instead of using this much of the beautiful sari thread, I had cotton that I had taken out of medicine bottles, and I hated to throw it away because it's real cotton. It's not polyester. It's the real thing. And so I took that, put a little bit of my school glue on it, and kind of rolled it into a ball, and then got it almost the size I wanted the finished bead to be, and then started wrapping it with the sari thread. and I used a whole lot less sari thread. So, I do love upcycling. So my daughter, hi, Miss Polly. Hi, sweetheart. So my daughter said, I got medicine in for Polly, the dog, and here's the cotton that was in it. The only problem is the medicine for the dog is flavored like beef or something, and I'm going to see if the cotton will air out. If not, I might have to toss it. So I do believe in recycling, upcycling to a point. And so I'm tickled to see Miss Polly here because I'm hoping she's going to come over and sew with me on Wednesday. And so I'm going to get in touch with her. Hi, Miss Jody. It is so good to see you. So, okay. So I took the 10-inch squares and I put that foam stuff in the middle, and now I've turned it right sides out. Okay, you have to leave, you leave a little opening here, and it's weird. Just remember when you do this that whether you use batting or the foam, it has to stay on the outside when it's right sides together. Before you sew it and turn it inside out, it always looks funny to have batting on the outside, but if you put the batting on the inside, when you turn it inside out, then it's a mess. So, oh yeah, did Miss Jody get any mummy pictures? You know what? I didn't even look for any. I'm sorry, Miss Jody, but I found her a great idea for the latest art quilt assignment that we're going to be working on. And I'm hoping it should work out really well. Let me bring the camera down and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. This is kind of the fun part and the easy part. And what I'm going to do now is I want to close up this opening that I left to turn it. And you know what I always hate is when you go to close this up, right near the seam, it'll get kind of pokey. Oops, wait a minute. Oh, Mark must have, whoop. Oh boy. Now I've kind of messed things up. I forgot he told me that was glued on. I thought, oh boy. Let me see. Hold on just a second. Oh, poo. I'm going to have to figure something out. Hold on just a second. Hold on, guys. I'll be right back. He told me that the screw on the bottom of the camera has worked its way out. And so he had it specially glued in. And when I should have loosened the screw to try to tilt it, and I didn't. So now what I'm going to do, because I'm going to have to do a quick fix for this, is I'm plugging in the hot glue gun. Because we do what we have to do. So as soon as this hot glue gun gets nice and warm, hopefully I can fix the camera. If not, I'm just going to find a place to sit it and I'll just talk to it. So, yeah, he warned me. He said, hon, that's getting loose in there. Be careful. And I kind of manhandled it because I don't know quite how to... I got to figure out how to work these little joints. So, hold on. Okay. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I'm going to be showing you more and more of my room now that I'm getting it clean. You will not believe how filthy this room was. But look over here. Okay, this is my desk. Okay, you see all my tools, things here. And this table area, and oh, you can't really tell, but I had a big laundry basket full of projects. Here we go. Here. Hi, Patricia. Here is my ironing board. Whoops, well, I'll show you. Here's the laptop that I look at while I'm talking to you. There's my thread. Here's the ironing board where I set up all the things I'm going to talk to you about. And I wish you could see, but I don't think you can see that far, but that my cutting counter right there is very clean. And let me see if I can show you the floor. Today I was working on cleaning the floor, moving everything and cleaning behind it. So trust me, this is amazing compared to what it's been for months. So now let me try my hot glue gun. Yeah, I'm getting hot glue now. If I can just get it to hold the camera on long enough for today until Mark can fix this. And I've got to hold it. See, this is what I love. When you have a whole production team and a whole bunch of production money, this is the kind of stuff you get. Oh, you're feeling it? Well, I'm sorry, sweetie. I've got really good news for you. I heard on National Public Radio here in the U.S. just an hour ago that it's looking like the COVID shots you're getting are going to last for years, so you won't have to go get another one. So just keep telling yourself that what you're feeling is your body preparing to fight for quite a long time. All right, so let me see. I'm hoping I'm not sure how good it's going to hold up. Let me get a piece of tape. I dread telling Mark. Well, I kind of tried to wrench it, and it kind of fell. Okay. Let me get a piece of tape because hot glue only works so good, you know? Okay. Hold on. Now, just to remind everybody, this Thursday, I'm having my cataract done. I'm going to bring this down because I don't want the camera to fall off while I'm trying to get this tape. But I'm having my cataract done this Thursday, so I will not be doing a show this Thursday. Okay, let me get a piece of tape real quick. All right. Good old masking tape. What would we do without it? All right. Let me see. I'm going to put it here. Whoops. Okay. I'm going to put it here. And whoops. Nope. I don't think that hot glue is working at all. All right. Okay. Let me see. I'm going to try to put another piece of tape across it and just tape it in place for today. We have had one thing after the other go wrong lately, and our refrigerator's acting up. Mark ordered some new parts for that. It's like, okay, we're done with things breaking and needing money. Oh, while I'm talking to you right now, I took my sewing machine into the shop to get it repaired. And doing the thread painting, I think I told y'all that I felt the needle slam down. I hope y'all can still see me now. Okay. All right. So, I'm going to have to be careful with this. That's called MacGyvering. When you take your glue gun and try to fix your camera. But put that over there. The glue stick fell on the floor. We were not going to pay attention to it. All right. So, took my sewing machine to the shop an hour away because I wanted to try a different place, and they seemed to have a better turnaround time, which was important. This is my favorite, my Juki 600, and $272. It was $150 just to clean it, look at it, fix it. Okay, then plus parts, and it needed. This is the part that'll get you. I needed a new bobbin case, only because this little vinyl ring that used to be in there, little sticky piece of vinyl, it lumped up and came out. And evidently you have to have that for the bobbin to run smoothly. And you can't just get a new piece of vinyl stuff to put on there. You have to buy a whole new $90 bobbin case. So he said, do you want the old one back? And I thought, heck yeah. I'm going to find out what kind of vinyl that is and get my own sticky vinyl. I mean, $90? Are you kidding me? And it was just for a little vinyl ring to go in the base of the bobbin case. And then there was another, my needle threader was like $15. Well, that was worth it because I love using my needle threader. And I do remember that the part, you push this thing down, this part comes out, a little plastic cheapy part. But yeah, I'm thinking so, Laura. I mean, this is like, he said, you broke a piece off and I don't know where it is. So I was like, broke it off? He said, it's that little. So, I feel like I was taken to the cleaners. But that's one of the reasons. I came home Friday after getting it and going to see my daughter and saying hi to Susan on the phone. And by the time I got home, and I was exhausted. And so it's still sitting upstairs on the table. I haven't even tried it. So I figured that's why tomorrow I'm taking off. Duct tape. Oh, gosh, don't we love duct tape? When I was the contractor when I built my home in Maryland, and the little farm home. And I used to say, thank God for duct tape and wood putty. Can hide a multitude of sins. All right, guys. So now I'm going to have to be extremely, extremely careful. And let me see. Let me use this little thing. Okay. All right. I might be able to do this part. We'll see. Now I got to just tighten this puppy back up a little. All right. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but let's see. Okay. All right. When you watch this show, you get to take amusement park rides with the camera. All right. So I'm just closing up the little opening that I sewed, that I left open to turn this 10-inch square of fabric plus the backing plus interfacing plus either batting or like a foam insert. Okay? Now what I'm going to do now is to help give the bag a little stiffness. Then I'm going to go straight in to doing a quilting design, just going about every ½ inch around, and this will give it stiffness and hold your front and back and filling, whatever filling, batting, whatever you put in it, it'll hold it in place. And you kind of got to make sure you're smoothing out ahead of yourself. Take good care, Miss Bonnie. Good seeing you, hon. All right, so just making sure it's reasonably smooth as you turn the corner. All right, let me cut this thread loose where I started sewing up. Okay. All right, now this one, let me just go up here. Okay, I'm going to meet with that other side. Now, I'll break the thread, come in ½ inch, And see how this is a little wonky, so I'm going to try to keep it flattened as I go. So 1/2 inch this way, and I'm just going to go around and around until I don't have any room left. But 1/2 inch apart, all these lines. Okay. I think if I had it to do over again, I would turn the piece inside out, press it really good, and then we meet up here, okay? Okay, with my needle up, I'm going to go back over to 1/2 inch inside. If I had it to do over again, I would flip the piece, sew the pieces together without the foam insert, flip it over, press it really good, then slip the foam insert in, knowing that it would be held by this quilt stitching, okay? Because I'm thinking that this is a little wibbly wobbly because of pressing the foam. Because you know how plastic has a low melting point. All right, I just need a couple more and then I'm going to show you the next step. Okay, move over 1/2 inch. And don't skimp on this part. It's pretty easy to do, but it really does give the bowl some rigidity, some structure. All right. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to mark anything because you can see where it should be. Okay. All right. All right. So then I just kind of finished off with a swirly thing in the middle. All right. So now what you do, let me cut these little threads where if I didn't cut them as I turn the corner and I just kind of stretch them over, I'm going to get them out of the way. So now what I have to do is sew the sides. And to do that, and I will put a tutorial on our site of this. I've already got it. I just have to put it on there. Hold on just a second. Okay. So I'll put the pretty side on the inside, and then I fold it in half like this. And then I'm going to sew across the corner. Okay, and back here we go. I'm going to sew, and it's usually about 2 inches right across the corner. All right, so let me get this one done. All right, then I'm going to come do the very same thing on that other corner. Two inches. Since you're doing it across the corner, let me show you again. You want it about 2 inches this way and 2 inches that way. Then now I'm going to take and fold it up like this, and I'm going to do it again. And with these sides, we've done these sides. Now we're going to do these sides. And just sew that 2 inches up one side to 2 inches across the other side. Okay. And I'm eyeballing it, but if it doesn't quite look right, Don't worry. Just put it back and do it again. Make sure you've got the right measurement. All right. Now I'm going to do this side. All right. All right. So now I'm going to turn it inside out. And you can see the base. You know what? I'm making it smaller than I had wanted to, but I'm going to go back and make it, instead of 2 inches, I'm going to make it, yeah, I actually wish it were bigger now. That's a little bit small for me. And then what you're going to end up doing is taking these, folding these down, and putting a button on them. Let me see if I can stand this back up now. Please work for me, Mr. Camera. Mark is going to say, I have to fix what? Yes, one more thing. Okay, so see the little box? But I'm going to do it maybe 1 inch by 1 inch because I want the box bigger. I kind of like this size better. Now, in that case, it'd probably be a good thing to make the block, instead of 10 inches, 12 inches. But so now you saw how I took these and sewed the corners, okay? I folded it in half, long ways. Just sewed the corners, then you flip it inside out. One thing I like to do, and I want to thank Miss, hold on. A friend at a retreat gave me this idea. We didn't know what to do with these the little folds. And in the one I made, I just turned it to the side. Well, she thought of, hey, if you take that little pouch, because it came because of doing the sewing up the side, if you flatten it and tack it on each side, then you can take and put little tools in there like that. Isn't that brilliant? So that's what I'm going to do when I get the right side. Then the only other thing you do after you decide whether you want to tack these to the side or split them down the seams so that they make a pouch, then the only other thing you do is you take the flap, fold it to the outside, and grab a coordinating button. Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah, that is a great idea. And I've got this case of buttons, and I would take a pretty red button or blue button and stitch it to each little flap that folds down. Okay? So that's why I love buying jars of miscellaneous buttons. And I also have my button box. You know what I always wanted to have was a big cookie jar, clear cookie jar full of buttons. But I didn't have sewers in my family, so we didn't have collections of buttons. And I've tried to collect growing up, but I don't know what people do with their buttons anymore. But it's harder and harder to find buttons. And if they're put on a site to sell, they go quickly. So these I bought, but here is my tin that a woman gave me where I've got a lot of, my old buttons. And it's so nice to have a button box. So anyway, but as you see on this one, I used coordinating buttons. And they don't have to be the same button for each size, whatever you want to make them. So that is today's little project. But it gives me another little tote that I can carry around. Because I don't use I do keep a basket, that sometimes I put things in. But sometimes I want to do a little hand sewing in the sunroom. Sometimes I want to be in the living room. And that way you can. That is a great thing to do, Miss Hattie. Yes, don't we love our buttons? So, Laura Rylander. I'm hoping I got that right. Please tell me I got that right. So anyway, but this is going to be a cute little thing. And and see my stitching? I think it looks kind of cool. You know, you've got the kind of chevron stitching. Oh, that side's not that pretty. Let's look back at this side. That looks better. So anyway, okay. So this is today's little project. Like I said, I will put this on the website so that you have the tutorial. So I'll have to scan it in, put it on the website. All right. Now, so how is everybody? If anybody else came in, let me know. But I found this with a fabric. Oh, it came from Keepsake Quilting. And it talks about how to launder new fabrics. You buy new fabrics for a quilt project. Well, there's a couple things I do know that I want to tell you. Do not wash part of the fabrics alone. You either wash all of it or none of it, okay? And so, because, uneven shrinkage is going to be a problem. All right, and whether you wash your fabric or not really doesn't matter. It's entirely up to you. I do know that some heavily, intensely colored things can run, like reds. They're notorious for running. So, you don't wash any of it, you're a rebel. Yeah, and you know what? That's this story is it is kind of like you have strong opinions on either side. I went through a phase. I did a hand-done Jenny Beyer quilt, and I showed y'all just a few weeks ago those blocks. And I cut it, marked them by hand, cut it by hand, and there you go. And when you're buying it secondhand, you never know. It's not like you're buying it from a shop. So good point. And, what was I going to say? Hold on. Okay. Sometimes if I watch what y'all are chatting with, I get so enamored of watching your chat that I forget where I am. But anyway, I worked on this Jenny Beyer. In fact, do I have it over there? Hold on. I think I do. Let me go see if I can find it. Hold on, guys. Now you can look at that part. Here it is. I found it. The nicest thing about cleaning your room is you can all of a sudden find stuff. How about that? All right. Hello, I'm back. And I might be a little crooked and stuff, but I'm afraid to touch this now because I messed it up. All right. Here is the actual quilt. I'll show you that in just a moment. All right. So I'm going to show you this, but don't do one of the things I did. I just noticed. I used ink pen to draw around the templates to cut this out. But I did this in 2002. Okay. That was before my new life. I mean, before. And evidently, I didn't realize, I just found this in cleaning the room up, that I still have at least one more block to go. But you can see how many pieces this was. And what I did is I was working on it all by hand, and I was so excited to get it done. And I love my Jenny Beyer patterns and fabrics. And so I did a bunch of blocks. I mean, there have to be at least 15 blocks here, all done by hand. And you can see how many pieces, okay? Then by accident, I spilled a Coke into the bag that had the quilt fabric in it. I had to wash it. All of a sudden, I had to wash it. Well, guess what happened when I washed it? Let me try to find a piece it's really going to show, but it ran. It ran a lot. Look, can you see where it bled right along here? Now, this camera is probably not going to let you see. Here's whoops, this one right here. Now, it might not let you see, but if you could see it in person, that deep burgundy ran right into the light color. Well, it made me ill. And at the time, I didn't know anything about color catchers. So I just put it in a bag and said, I will deal with this later. And you can't really tell by the camera, but it's just kind of, it's unfortunately just kind of left this, it's like, you know how you can dye things with tea, hot tea, and it just kind of gives a different look to it? Well, that's what this one does. And so, anyway, so that's that. I did that in 2002 or 3 and then didn't touch it. And I found it just a few months ago. Here is a color catcher that I washed with it. And you see how much color still came out? That's after the second wash. Now, some of the worst of the color bleeding came out, but you know what? I've got too much work and too much love in those blocks. I'm going to finish that quilt. So, but anyway, that's the only reason that for a while, I did wash all fabrics that came in here. But then something happened to me. I decided I didn't like having to iron all that fabric that I washed. And then it loses its hand. Now, when I say hand, the hand is the feel of the fabric. And they put chemicals on it that gives it kind of a nice hand. And then now I've learned if I'm going to make a patchwork quilt, I starch it on top of what they already have put in the fabric. And so now I'm like, well, I don't want to wash it. So I just take my chances now. I just, but most of my stuff doesn't get washed a lot anyway. So I take my chances. The color catchers are really good. And I forget the name of the company, but they're called color catchers. And you put a sheet in the washing machine and it works really good. I think that if I hadn't have put it in the dryer after it ran, see, I kind of set the running colors. Then I could have used a color catcher later and gotten the rest of the color out. Shout, yes, I think you're right, Laura. Shout brand color catchers. Okay, so now I just want to tell you this real quick. It says individually machine wash each color in warm water, rinsing until the water runs clear. Do not wash more than 5 or 6 yards at a time. And be sure to unfold the fabric before washing so that there's no rubbing along the fold line. Because if you've ever bought old fabric, you'll see that fold line is kind of left a fade or wear line. And so unfold it, fluff it before you put it in the wash machine. Now, this is where I went wrong. When I bought a bunch of yards of backing fabric, I put it all in the wash, put it all in the dryer at the same time. Way too many. I probably had 15 yards of fabric in that dryer. It says, to prevent unnecessary wrinkling, Do not put more than 5 yards of fabric in the dryer at one time. Duh! I had 3 times too many yards of fabric and it wrinkled horribly. And that's the fabric that I had to wash like 3 times. Hey, Gran! That I had to wash 3 times to try to get the wrinkles out of it. So just remember that. And then if you notice there's still more wrinkles, take it out of the dryer when it's still a little damp and then iron it. And it'll be a lot easier to use. Now, people have asked, well, can I pre-wash pre-cuts? No, just don't do it. And if you notice with the Jenny Buyer blocks, there was a lot of raveling because any cut fabric like that is going to, especially all that swishing and stuff that washing it does, do not take good care, Miss Nikki. It was so good to see you, sweetheart. So do not wash pre-cuts. Just don't. If you spill something on them, then you can just kind of gently rinse them a little bit, lay them on a towel to dry, but no rubbing, scrubbing on pre-cuts. All right. So then, okay, fabrics with metallic highlights, because, you know, I love those, and there are a lot of them on the market now. Machine wash, but with a gentle cycle and warm water. Tumble dry on a low setting. And do not use laundry products containing brighteners, okay? That means nothing with, not just bleach, but some of them have like a hydrogen peroxide kind of product to bleach it. Don't use that with anything with metallics. It probably will stick the metallic from the fabric. And then do pre-cut fusible back shapes. You know how you can buy kits and they've got this fusible already on the little pieces and you put pieces together? Do not wash them. They will unravel or fray. All right, so I just thought I would share that with you because you know what? If I had read that before I did all the backing fabric, I wouldn't have had to wash it 3 times. But with backing fabrics, I usually will go ahead and wash it just because I'm going to be handling it so much. So anyway, all right. So forget about any brighteners if you're doing metallicized fabric. All right, now, and I wanted to show you, I've got, these are going to be those little baskets because I had made up a bunch of kits to do with my retreat group. And here's one with cute little bee skeps. And so anyway, but that's for that. Then when I was doing some cleaning, I found something I didn't even know I had done. It was tucked under a cabinet and I found it. And I think this is cute. This, I used to belong to a group called Quilts by Kos, K-O-S, and we did a row robin. And what I think is so neat is look at the fabric in the center. It is, this way. It is pansies, which I'm making another pansy quilt now. So I think it's really sweet, and this has been around the country. So I said, okay, that deserves to be finished. Cute little spring wall hanging. So it's really nice when you clean your room because you never know what goodie you will find. Then, you know, I did this, I don't know, 2 months ago, and took a bunch of strips and was going to weave a basket. And I've woven reed baskets, so I thought, this will be a piece of cake. Well, I should have done more research. That's my way. I kind of jump in sometime, right? And so what I found is, and you know what? I don't know if I have the picture of it. I think I put it away. But you know how I took 20 strips and laid 10 of them this way and laid 10 of them this way and wove them? So in the center, you've got a nice woven base. Well, what you're supposed to do is and then that way, just the center is woven and the pieces stick out this way and this way, like a cross. Well, you're supposed to take a nice sturdy thread, weave the thread right around that center so it holds that weaving tight together. Because otherwise, when you start flipping them up and weaving them, they will not hold well. And I just heard a firecracker. Last night at 12:30 at night, there were firecrackers by neighbors. Like, come on, people. But anyway, so the other thing I taught you wrong is, let me see if no, I don't have it. What did I do? You know, I've been in a cleaning mood, so I said, oh, I'm done with that and put it away. So, so I have the cross 10 strips and 10 strips, and the center is already woven, and you put a tight thread weaving it in and out so that you really tighten down that center part. Well, when I first showed you this, I had it on a foam core board. I misunderstood and thought I should. So you've got the 10 strips down this way and the 10 strips this way. I thought I should take 5 of these and 5 of these and weave them together, because that's kind of what it looked like on the pictures. If I'd read more closely, like 2 more times, that's what it took, and think about it, I would have said, oh, you weave together the arms of one cross. So you've got the fabric strips going like this. You weave just the ones down here. You pull 5 and 5 and weave those together. Soon as I did it the right way, it started forming a bowl very easily. So like this side started coming right up to form a bowl. And then what you do is when you get these different sides, then you, in some areas, you kind of like weave those little pieces together. So that went well. Well, then I know how you're supposed to finish a basket like this. You're supposed to tuck in. So you have this strip hanging up here. You're supposed to kind of reweave it down through the inside, okay? And it's just like tucking it under another weave on the inside. Then you cut off the excess, and it's nice and neat and tidy. I couldn't figure out how to do this to save me. I could figure out how to do some of them, but the others I didn't know what to do with. So I got tired and frustrated. It was a busy week this week. So I decided I'm just going to tuck them to the inside and put some nice sturdy tacky glue on them. And then I'm going to take and sew around it on a sewing machine. The only problem, and I think I just showed you there's the bad side. What the heck is that? What happened is some of the strands that I was weaving ended up a little short. I must have tightened them, in my attempt to keep them nice and snug. I tightened some of them too much. So I didn't have enough left. See, I mean, I could barely fold it over the edge. So this is why I should always make a complete one of anything before I do it on here. This is what I'm going to do. What I think I'm going to do is make like a binding, like, you have when you bind a quilt. I'm going to use a pretty color, and it'll be wider than this, but, the double fold binding, and make it so where it's about this wide finished. And I'm going to put it on here, and I'm going to sew it. And that way, my boo-boos will be hidden away. Because I like this basket. I think it's so colorful and pretty. But this was definitely a practice basket. And I don't have enough of these bright strips. These are Allison Glass, and I love them. I wish I had more strips that I could make another one. So I'm going to rescue this by putting a nice binding around here and calling it good. So first I'm going to take and cut off all these overhanging strips like this, and then put binding around it. And that's the case of the basket. So I apologize. I hope that when you make yours, you make sure to don't over tighten some areas and end up with pieces that are too short. But if you end up with my problem, yes, Polly, very good. I did remove the string. Yep. Once it's all folded up, then I took and just cut and pulled. And I would use a hand quilting thread, or I used a double strand of thread to make sure you could get it in nice and neat. And I love it. I think it's absolutely precious. I love how bright and colorful. I think it's going to look great down here. But I just thought I'd say that's why when you do one on air, you should already have had another one done, because you never know how it's going to give you a fit. All right. Is Nadine still here? Let's go look at photos, because I know that she's got to soon get to sleep. So, and then we'll come back and I'll show you some of my beads and a brand new project that I'm going to work on. So we're going to look at photos and we'll come back and look at what kind of progress have I made on the beads. Okay, here we go. All right. So now, here we go. Get to now. Oh gosh, I've got to turn the camera without it falling. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Let me see if I loosen. Whoop. Loosen this. I think I can turn it and then tighten it back down. Oh goodness, I'm gonna have to hold it, guys. Oops. Hold on. I just got a whiff of Mark's dinner in the crock pot. Boy, does it smell good. Okay, I'm going to show you this again, which is the repeat of last week's slideshow of gardens. We had a wonderful garden party, and I wanted to show you that again. And I'm wondering, what kind of plant is that? Susan will have to tell us. I love her Shasta daisies. You can really grow Shasta daisies so much better where it's a little bit cooler than down south. I think that was her rock garden too. Love some of her evergreens, and look at Rick's garden. Beautiful. That is so nice. And her groundhog, her pesky little groundhog. Look, I am so in love with purple coneflowers. Dahlia. Look at those daisies. Aren't these gorgeous? Look at that bee. What a great picture. Oh, and here's her purple coneflowers starting to bloom. Look at these Asiatic lilies. Gorgeous. And I need to find out what this is. That is beautiful. Isn't that amazing? Daylilies have come into their own. When I was growing up, you only saw what we used to call the tiger lilies. But now there are so many wonderful things. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, and I trimmed this up. I wish I could show it to you now, because it just trimmed both of these so they're a little more manageable looking now. And my daylilies aren't nearly as pretty as some of y'all's. Wait till you see Polly's. Oh my goodness gracious. This is Amanda Via vine. It's trying to grow up there now. And I don't know if any of you have planted petunias, but my daughter and I have had a problem with some of these petunias just dying on us. I mean, just dying. So we've got to figure out what to do for that. Also, my chickens are making a mess in the yard, and I've got to get up some wire fencing to try to keep them out because they just destroy my work. This is a Polonia tree that I love those. They're Japanese, but if you cut them back to the ground, the leaves come back huge. All right, let's see. Okay, enough. I took too many pictures. I want to see all of your gardens. Oh, gardenias. Gosh, I love them. These are obedient plants. Kind of fun. I love lantana for the hot south. Works beautifully. Okay, come on. Huh. Hold on. Oh, I love these sterling silver petunias. Beautiful. Let me see. Hold on a second. I want to get past mine. Oh, good. I'm almost past them. I want to get past mine because I'd rather look at y'all's stuff. Okay, here we go. Back to y'all's. Oops, wait a minute. I forgot. I've got to now. Let me see. I hope it's going to work. Let's see. I hope it didn't start at the beginning. Hold on a second. I might have started at the beginning. Let's see what this is. Oh, pineapple. Look at the pineapples on this. How awesome. I wish it would just let me, but it's giving me a fit. So I think what we're going to do is let's go back to individual photos. So here we go. And here's Alexis. Now, she named the character, and I have forgotten. I'm sure she could tell y'all. But isn't that the coolest thing? I love that. I love it. All right. So thank you, Miss Alexis, for sharing with us what you've been. She had been busy, but she started back to her embroidery. Then Miss Bonnie, I love these two quilts she's working on. Beautiful. And especially for today. Isn't that wonderful? Yay. Okay. So now, oh, Miss Charlene, I've been saying this wrong. Miss Charlene took a couple-hour online class from Bonnie Langfeld, and look at what she did. I love it. So thanks for telling me the real story, because sometimes I get confused, y'all. Sorry about that. I don't think I have anything. Nope, don't have anything new. Dolores. Oh, I love these photos of her grandkids. And what fun. They're doing an archaeological dig for dinosaur bones. How fun. Neat grandchildren. And look at this 12-year-old making a quilt for his new sister. Is that the sweetest thing? And there is that flower that I want to know what it is. All right, let's go back. Miss Diana Wright. Okay, let's see. She's been doing a lot. Some of these are quilts she makes for customers. That is That's so neat. Okay. Let's see what else we have. I think here she's showing the quilting. I think she added part of the theme in the quilting. Isn't that pretty? Looks like roses. That's beautiful. Beautiful. Her quilting is phenomenal, people. She is so talented. So if you want your quilt done by somebody who's really talented, unfortunately, this is not letting us see the quilting because of the busyness of the fabric. But, oh, look at this tote she made. That is wonderful. That is wonderful. With its boxed in bottom. And this is so cute because she's got a raccoon that's hiding out of the heat, in the Texas heat. Look at that. I think it would make, I'm not a real big fan of raccoons, but I think it's cute it does it at her house. So here is a customer quilt she put on the frame. And here again is that same raccoon cooling off in her pool. Is that the cutest thing? Got its tail, anchored its tail on the side, and just floating and enjoying that water. So everything loves coming to Diana Wright's house. I love that. So here is Edwinisa's quilt she's working on. Very nice. And then, oh yes, this is just to remind us, we're going to be working on Foggy Woodland. And it's going to be very easy and very quick. And I think we're going to have some cool results. I'm going to show you how to give it that look with not much trouble and not much fabric. Here is Ingers from Norway. Love that quilt. Okay, let me see what else I have. Okay, here's Jeannie's. Oh, I should have shown you this last, but she's got her Scrabble. Looks like names of all the grandkids. How sweet is that? Or name of a family, I'm not sure, but that is wonderful. So now let me go to the next one. Look at that. Isn't that cute? And a wonderful pillow she made. And a chair cover. Very nicely done because that's got depth to it. She couldn't do just a pillowcase. It had to have actual gusseted sides. And there's her little dog checking out that chair. And here are the parts of the Scrabble quilt. Look at this. And she had to keep them all organized. She did a great job. So way to go. Okay. Thank you, Miss Jeannie. All right, now, Jody. I can't wait to see her new project. So if you have any good photos of the mummy or creature from the Black Lagoon, please send them to her. Send them to me, and I will forward them to her. But if you happen to run across, if you're an old movie buff, and you have any images that would help her, I love her work. It is amazing. Look at that Wolfman. Isn't he incredible? All right. Now, after Jody's, Kathleen Kendall. Oh, do you remember Kathleen Kendall from Maine? She sent me these wonderful pictures of her garden, and they're just charming. Those are her irises. Okay. Here, I think it's spireas. I'm not sure all of what is blooming, but they're beautiful. I just love them. And that, whoops, this camera's really not doing very well right now. Okay, so now let me see. Oh, yeah, that looks like a spirea. That is just so pretty. Beautiful, beautiful. Look at that. Isn't that wonderful? Might be some peonies in there. And then look at her lupins. I cannot, I think they're lupins. And I can't grow them down here in the South. They are gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay, I think that was it for her beautiful garden. Thank you, though, Miss Kathleen Kendall, for sending those. And then Linda McCullum sent some more of her wonderful artworks. I have several of these over at on the box at the end of my ironing board because I love them so much. She sent them to me, and aren't they cute? Cute little birds. And then look at this. She did a felted bird. Isn't that awesome? I love it. She said she'll try just about anything. And look at this. Isn't that wonderful? So it kind of reminds me of Nadine's type work. So now let's see. We're almost ready for Nadine, I believe. And, oh, got Melanie. Forgot about Melanie. Melanie is doing the Binding Tool Star quilt too. I'm so tickled to see that. And I love how you each make it your own. Here's some of her beautiful work. Look at this one. I love that. And look at these embroidery. And then this cute little dog. Thank you for sharing those with us, Miss Melanie. All right. Now, Michelle has a spool quilt, which made me think, because you remember right now, Alex Anderson is doing a sew-along spool quilt. So you might want to check that out. Good job, Miss Michelle. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Go back there. Okay. Now, Nadine, yay, we're at Nadine's. I want you to look. I'm going to put hold on. I'm going to put this on slideshow so you can see what she is working on, because it's really, really pretty. Oops, some of them are a little sideways. You have to turn your head. Look at this one. Aren't they gorgeous? She's using stamps and paints and just multimedia. Wouldn't they be beautiful, like in a child's room, too? They're just magical, Miss Nadine. You are so talented. Oops, this one's upside down. I don't know how you're going to see that one correctly. I apologize for my camera work, but her artwork is gorgeous. So as you see, there are just so many ways to express yourself. Isn't that wonderful? Okay. Thank you, Miss Nadine. They are beautiful. And, oops, nope, not that one. And we would love to know how you make all of that work. And here is Patricia from Nova Scotia, her Binding Tool Star quilt in progress. Love it. Okay, Miss Polly. Now wait till you see Miss Polly's garden. I'm going to do the same thing and do a slideshow. She has a wonderful garden. Look at that swath of daylilies. And I love the ornamental grasses. Look at this. Is that a calendula maybe? And then, oh, look at that. I think the purple ones are a type of straw flower, but I forget what they're called. Look at these daylilies. Just beautiful. Balloon flowers. Campanula, something like that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love seeing all of her mulch. That is the way to garden. Look at these purple cone flowers. Beautiful. She's got a very good gardening eye. So thank you very much for sharing this with us. All right. Now I got so excited seeing that. Oh, and I want you to see Miss Sarah Quilting for the Soul. Look at the beautiful little baby that she's raising. It's her grand niece, and what a beautiful little baby. She was all dressed up to go see Disney on Ice. How cute. Okay. I just so admire Sarah. She's working very hard to raise one grandbaby and one grandniece. What a loving woman. Look at this. This is Susan's plaid quilt, and I think this was a quilt testing quilt. Beautiful, nice, neat, beautiful work. Okay, I think that's it. Now, if I can get my camera to stay in place, cross your fingers. I'm not sure. Whoops. Okay. Hit that again. Let me try to tighten this down. Mark's going to be so thrilled when I tell him that I broke my camera again. Oh, gosh. Hold on, guys. Whoops. It really, that hot glue, just so you know, hot glue does not fix a camera. Whoops. Hold on. If I can get this joint tightened, it should work. Come on, camera. So it's like, Mark, honey darling. He says, I think he'll say this time, I think I want to resign from the IT department, okay? All right, now let me come back, make sure you're still there. Okay. And I got the camera to stay. The whole time we're doing all of the show and tell, I'm having to hold it. Oh, my arm was getting sore, but it's my own fault. Okay. I just wanted to show you really quick. Thank you, Miss Nadine. I was hoping that you could be able to see that. So here are the fabric beads I'm making, okay? So I thought I'd show you a little bit more about that. I'm going to show you a couple things. And then, this summer, I'm going mad for crafts. I have to tell you, I am so glad that I got through this past year between the pandemic and my health scare. I feel so lucky to have I've got my life back. I mean, it was pretty scary. And some of you who faced this also, faced the big C word, know what I mean. And so I am planning on having a lot of fun this summer. And it's going to be about celebrating. And because when you are lucky enough to be given a second chance, use it. So what this is, besides being a beautiful periwinkle color blue box, is 2-part epoxy resin. Yay! I have been watching some of the YouTube people have, in the past who've done gorgeous things with resin. And I'm starting to dry flowers. And I'm going to go out and get some more because certain flowers dry better than others and hold their color better. But this was an inexpensive little kit off of Amazon. I found, I look for my deals. So these are 8.5 ounces. Oh, this is 9.7 ounces and this is 8.8. So I'm going to have to, hopefully it's not going to be too hard to figure out how much of what to put where. And I'm going to get some clear cups that I can throw away. This must just be a plastic sheet to put down to work on. And then they give you this beautiful glitter. Look at that. So I'm going to try to use my Dynaflow paints to mix. I'm not sure if it'll work. I might have to actually buy official dye for resin. You have to be careful. You can't use anything water-based because then it'll affect the curing of the resin. So I think you can use alcohol paint or alcohol dyes, but I've got some of these little molds, silicone molds, where you can make things that look like little pendants. And then the main thing I'm so excited about is um, I would like to make cute little flamingo pins for viewers. So I'm curious to try it out, and we'll see what happens. So then I was going to tell you that to make the fabric beads, I cut strips of fabric, and then I lay the fabric on the ironing board, and make sure you've already starched the fabric if you have some starch handy. And I lay it there, and then I take some fusible interfacing. This happened to be Heat and Bond I got from Michael's. I lay it on here with a nice hot iron. And see how I've got the fabric ironed to the interfacing. Then I'll go back and cut these out. And then I use a bead roller and I roll the beads. And I use school glue until the last few inches. And then on that, I use tacky glue because it holds on the fabric better. I've also found that it helps to peel back a 1/4 inch of the interfacing right at the end of that fabric that you're going to roll into a bead. Peel that back and then use the tacky glue. And that gives a smoother end to the bead, and it gives it, whoops, I'm losing my little black beads here. Come back here. And, but I've got pony beads. I've got these. I've got some wooden beads, and I will be putting those. If I want to, I can even make some beads from my polymer clay collection. And then I can put those in between the fabric beads and make a necklace. Now, here are the beads that have been made and have one coat of finish. And whoops, let me show you that. I always like to show you. Here it is. Deco Art Triple Thick. I'm really enjoying this. Look at my thumb. See, when I come to you, I've been doing all these things, and it doesn't necessarily get washed off good enough. But I love this, and I was going to show you how I do this. Because sometimes, you can say, okay, put this finish on, do this. And sometimes it would really be helpful to know exactly how do you do it. So, let me show you the finished ones. Look at how beautiful they are. And then this is the Asian fabric. Look at that. And see how they're just so glossy? And you hear that? They're nice and firm and hard and ready to be put on a necklace. And nobody, I don't think, would ever know that that's a fabric bead. So, and let me see. I had a few more over here to show you because I'm just so impressed with how they came out. And I just love that finish on them. Now that, you can see that seam right there, but usually they're pretty cool looking. Okay, so I have these beads that I made last night, and they've had one coat of the triple thick finish. Now, anytime while I'm working on these, if I notice a little roughness, because sometimes putting on the triple thick, brushing it on, kind of brings up some threads. So then I just lay these scissors on, and I go around, and I trim it up, making sure every stage I make sure I have a nice clean edge. And so I do that to both ends. Then I take this bead and I put it, hold on just a second. Okay. I take this bead, I put it on a skewer. Okay. And then I take, oh, yeah, I think I'll just pop the little lid. These things, when you've opened that, I'm going to put it on this side. You just find a piece of disposable plastic, you know. I forgot to get my little tray, so. All right. Then I keep these brushes in a cup of water because when you're working with this stuff, it dries pretty quickly. So I'm not going to lean the camera down. So I take and put a good amount of this on the brush. And then first I go underneath to coat the edge. You want to make sure that the whole thing is coated evenly. So you go and cut it. And then I get some more of the triple thick. And now I start just laying it gently on the fabric. Make sure you have enough. You want it to look nice and wet. Okay, and the nice thing about this, with Mod Podge, you had to do more layers and thin ones because it didn't want to dry good. This dries so non-sticky and nice and hard. There you go. So now I will take and transfer it to the toothpick and then put it on my drying rack that I made out of a piece of styrofoam and toothpicks. So I just go along and do all of them. And they're best with 3 coats. But just think about this. You can use any, let me show you this bead. Go in your closet and look for some really pretty, bright beads. Isn't that neat? So anyway, I'm having a lot of fun with these. One of the things that I'm going to want to make next is a barrel bead. So I'm going to have to I want to put it on medium interfacing so I can make the long triangle. The moment I cut out the long triangle, I'm going to take fray check and some kind of, stabilizer and go all the way down each side of the bead. That's one of the reasons, I kind of like doing just the regular straight beads, but I think I want to try a few of the barrel beads. All right, so I'm not going to work on this anymore right now, and I don't like wasting any. I got it open. Did hurt the hand just a little, but I don't like wasting any of this, so I just take and get up every bit of it, put it back in the bottle. I can't help myself. You should see me when I used to love to watch cooking shows, but they didn't have time to scrape out every last bit out of the mixing bowl. Used to drive me nuts. I'm like, hey, you could have another whole cupcake with what you leave in that bowl. So yeah, so I rub the brush off really good, get every last bit of it off, and then plunk it right back in the water right away because you don't want, this is pretty permanent when it dries, and so you don't want to ruin your brush. All right, so I got every bit of it off. I'm just going to clean up the little container, and there we go. All right, so that, and now when I go upstairs and sit in front of the TV, I can trim these. And, that's one thing I wanted to show you. With these beads, they're really pretty, and I've got them longer. And remember I was telling you to be careful that sometimes when you put the first coat of the finish on, it'll open up a seam a little bit. So I'll go along with my fingernail and I'll just flatten it back down. Then that way when you put on the next coat, it stays flatter. But that first coat, I think, just kind of, it's like putting a first coat of finish on wood, and the wood kind of swells. So now, see, much better. So now when I put the next two coats on, I'll just make sure it's in between each one, make sure it's still laying flat. And this one, I'm going to use the black beads in between. I think it'll make a really striking necklace. But I've never made jewelry from the fabric beads, but this time I want to. But especially now that I've got the right kind of finish. I never made them before because the Mod Podge was left sticky. And these, they're really nice and hard. All right. And whoops, I'm going to have to do something with that container of black beads. It's dropping little beads all over the place. And I think I'll show you right before I'm about done so we can get ready to go. But I thought I would show you something that I had a lot of fun with. And because I'm all of this now, I want to, all of these beads. Now, I made some wonderful spacer beads, and I think they might need one more layer. I'm trying to decide how shiny do I make them, but these are going to be the spacer beads in between these bigger ones. And so I've got a bunch of the spacer beads made. Oh, and when I say fray check, this is my favorite. There are other kinds, and it's just to keep something from unraveling. It says stop fraying on fabric, and I love this. Anytime if you have a seam that's a little close to the edge, it tried to open up and you try to close it, put this on it. Anytime that you want to strengthen the integrity of the fabric, like if I accidentally nick a fabric, I'll put this on and stitch it back together. It just really helps keep the fabric strong. So here, I haven't put the beading on them yet, which I am going to do. Here's one that has all the beading on it. Here's another one, and all these beads are sewn on by hand. I would be afraid of just gluing them on. This has got chenille on the end and beads. This has got a pretty, I tried using a different decorative item. Bye-bye, Miss Michelle. Have a great day. 3 coats of the triple thick to get that real ceramic bead look. And I just had so much fun making these. And these are just, it's this, but bigger, longer. You cut the strips wider, and then you can do all of this decorating on them. So I'm showing you these because I'm going to keep working on them. I think that they are so much fun, and I really want to do something with these this time. And so, and I had a hard time getting that bead off. Sometimes, putting them on the wood, they don't leave them on too long after when they're drying. As soon as they're dry, get them off. But I'm going to follow through with everything I do. I want to actually complete the things I make now. That's my new motto. And it's just a matter of being disciplined more, getting it done. And I am going to stick. In fact, if Miss Polly's coming over this week, good and well I'm going to make sure this room is finished. I've only got this little bit right here left to do. And, Michelle unfortunately left. But let me tell you, she wouldn't be surprised at all the dust that was in this room, because this is an active, busy working room. And Mark brought his shop vac out here and said, "Hon, you want to use the shop vac to get up all that junk?" I mean, I pulled out everything and cleaned behind it because it was a mess. So, and did a lot of sneezing too. Well, I think, let me see. Oh, there will be no Thursday show this week because I'm having my left eye euthaned. Euthaned? But I'm going to have the cataract removed from my left eye, and I can't wait. I cannot wait because I'm tired of my eyes being so different and making me feel Okay, my eyes are having to work too hard. So I'm going to have a new, brand new shiny lens, and I can't wait. But I'm having it done Thursday, so I won't be here Thursday night to do the show. I'll be here, but not up to doing the show. Although it might be interesting to see me loopy, because they don't put you all the way to sleep. They make you loopy. But I'm so excited. This is the kind of surgery that's exciting because it's easy and quick. And so I have not mailed any of the prize packages out. I was going to try to see whose addresses I needed. And if there's a problem and I'm still missing some, then I'll tell you next week. But I hope to get them out before I have my eye surgery. So cross my fingers. Let me see. But if you haven't sent me your address and I've never mailed you something, send me your address. All right, I think. Oh, I know I was going to tell you a little bit more about the Juki repair that I did not. I knocked that timing out. And that's why, even though I took it apart and it was fun, I couldn't fix that. I didn't know how to do the timing on that. So I'm very, very happy to get that back. And he said it is a good machine. Juki makes beautiful machines, good, strong products. So that part was great. All right, I think I'm done. So now it's time to wish y'all a happy 4th. And I hope you take some time on this Independence Day to do something just for you. And thank you, my Susan, for being willing to sew with me tomorrow. So, and I hope to see some of you, and we can just sit and have fun. Take a day just for us, because it's kind of sad, but I have to tell myself, Deb, you're taking a day just for you. Because if not, I'll get busy doing something and then the day's gone. So I can't wait. I'll get to work on my pansy quilt. So come, you can paint, you can quilt, you can knit, you can just sit and chat. And this time we get to actually talk and use our voices. We don't have to type. So those of you who join, who are members of our Groups IO, you just go on the Groups IO tomorrow and you'll see the link. Then you just click on it and boom, you're there. Okay, so go to the link. And if you are not like Miss Hetty, if you can join us tomorrow, then send me an email at ourtimetoquilt@twc.com. Y'all have a great 4th. And thank you, everyone, for spending this time with me. Thank you to Linda and Susan, my wonderful moderators. And all of y'all are amazing. And Kathy Klein, it was so wonderful to see you again. And Laura R., thank goodness we still knew who you were. So that's great. Everybody, it was so good seeing you. And I can't wait to see better. I cannot wait. Oh, Michelle, the quilter is here. Hello. Isn't that wonderful? I love what you've done. What great decorations. We'll do something special for you, and I will see you next week. Happy 4th. Take real good care of yourself. Bye-bye, guys. Y'all are the best.